Forest Park City Council meeting number 1238, November 3rd, 2014. Let us stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk call the roll, please.
Burns.
Here.
Cottle.
Here.
Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lives. Southall.
Need a motion to excuse Mr. Burns.
I move to excuse Councilman Lives and Councilman Southall.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we excuse Councilman Lives and Councilman Southall. Any discussions? All in favor of the motion to excuse, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are then excused. I might add, before we go to presentation, that both Councilman Lives and Councilman Southall are participating in the election, preparing for the election process tomorrow. And I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome back Clerk of Council.
Thank you.
Hopefully everything went all right with you and yours. Thank you very much. Item number 3 is presentation. I have no list of presentations.
You skipped minutes.
Minutes. You have copies of the minutes before you. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is presentations. There are none. Then we go to item number 4, communications from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. You recognize, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comment or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address council? If so, please come forward to the podium, state your name, tell us who you are, sign in, and state your business.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Beaumar. I live at 11457 Southland Road. I've been a citizen of Forest Park since 2003.
I'm sorry, sir, what was your
I said
last name?
Beaumar, B-O-M-A-R. I've been a resident of Forest Park since 2003. Excuse me. And my concerns is companies, or some companies, I'm not saying all, but I know one myself because I worked there once, who don't have any Forest Park residents working there in their facilities. I don't know all the zoning laws, but I do know, or I was brought up to be taught that council or city council are to lure companies in and provide jobs to the residents of the community. I worked at is it okay if I bring the name of the place where I worked? It was Magnum Machine. I worked at Magnum Machine. They let me go. I still haven't gotten a reason why they let me go. But my concern is there's no one from Forest Park working there. No one. Still Summit, which is next door to Magnum Machine. To my knowledge, there's no Forest Park residents working there. As far as zoning laws are concerned, I believe that there's supposed to be some type of agreement between the company and the city that some residents work in the facilities. That's my concern. I don't like to see a company in the neighborhood and no one works there. It's a good company. Both of them were good companies. I'm struggling trying to make it, been trying to get back on, and they won't let me come back. I just want to know what council does, or can you do anything to look into the situation? Is there anyone that polices or watch over situations like that?
I would ask Mr. Brim if he would just want to comment on, but first and foremost, let me say this. We do often have agreements with incoming companies that the X number of the employees will be residents of Forest Park. However, we cannot and do not and will not say to a company, you must keep this employee or that employee.
I understand that.
And I can say that in those agreements that we've had and have regarding the number of, percentage of the number of residents and forest park that are to be hired, those companies do live up to those agreements. And yes, we do check, we do have annual reporting to make sure that that is done.
Then how is it there's no one that, well, there's no one working there from Forest Park?
Well, the initial agreement is that they will hire people.
Okay,
Now, once people are hired, you know, we can't very well say to this company that you got to keep that person.
oh, so actually it can be just a revolving door.
Well, it could be, but as I said, what we've noticed is they live up to their agreements. I can't, and the companies that you're talking about, the one company you're talking about, I can't, I don't know that company's been there for a long time. I have no idea what that initial agreement may have been. Mr. Brim?
Mayor, members of council, as you know, if we have some type of an incentive agreement with a company, then typically we would ask them to hire, try to hire a certain number of Forest Park residents. Now, typically, it's kind of a dual-edged sword because while we want them to hire Forest Park residents, we also want them to make the investment here in Forest Park. Because even if they hired non-Forest Park residents, we're still getting that earnings tax revenue from those employees. So even if they're not Forest Park residents, we're still seeing new revenue for the city, which then allows us to do more things for the residents, whether it's road improvements or recreational services or any type of services that we please. All of that goes into the pot. So we want them to be here, and we encourage them to hire residents. Now, the two companies you mentioned, we currently do not have any type of incentive agreement in place with them. So there would be no obligation. It's not a zoning regulation. It's typically if we have some type of an incentive arrangement where we're providing some type of direct benefit to the company, then we'll be seeking from them to hire Forest Park residents. If there's no type of incentive agreement in place, the company really doesn't have an obligation, a legal obligation to hire Forest Park residents. We still encourage all of our companies to hire Forest Park residents whenever possible, but there's not any other type of legal requirement to do that unless they have a separate agreement with us.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council? Anyone else from the public want to address council? Okay. Hearing none, then we would move to the next item on the agenda, item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first of those standing committees would be the Law Committee, Councilwoman Cottle.
I have no report this evening, thank you.
Are there any questions for Councilwoman Cottle? Hearing none, Councilwoman Cottle, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session on the 10th. Do you have any to add?
No, thank you.
Next committee report is Human Resources Committee. That would be Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have any Human Resource Committee report tonight. I would just like to urge everybody to get out tomorrow and exercise your right to vote. This is a very important election, and I would just like for everyone to get out and vote. That would conclude my report.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session, the reappointment of boards and commissions. Do you have any to add?
No, but I would like to discuss something with you later that maybe we could add.
Okay, thank you. Next report is Public Safety Committee, Councilman Lives. Is anyone on that committee would like to have a report for him? There are no items on the agenda for public safety for the next meeting. Next item D, Public Improvements and Facilities Committee, Councilman Southall. Does anyone on his committee have a report in his behalf? And as well, there are no items on the agenda for him for the next meeting. Next standing committee report is Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
I want to mention that there is a resolution on tonight about an incentive agreement for a company interested in relocating in Forest Park. But I also wanted to draw attention to some things in the departmental reports that currently there are several other projects that we are working on. Three of them are retention situations, and 2 of them are new business situations. And you might want to check out the departmental reports and look into those, because I think there's some very interesting things going on here. I also wanted to mention that the Business Recognition Breakfast is taking place on Tuesday, November 11th at Woodlands Crystal Room, and we will recognize 6 businesses and 2 individuals for making outstanding contributions to our business community during the past year. And then I also wanted to mention under the Environmental Awareness Program that Abitibi, who has had some dumpsters for mixed paper recycling throughout our city, went out of business on September 30th. And the city is going to retain 2 of those sites at Forest Chapel and also at North Branch Public Library. Rumpke will be signed up to pick up the recycling from those 2 places. But the other 2 sites, the one at Kroger and the one at Old Time Pottery, are closed now. And then this also impacts the Winton Woods School District recycling efforts, and because they would do their recycling through Abitibi. Rumpke is also going to pick up that, and we're going to underwrite the cost, because there's a slight cost to them doing that. So I thought that you might be interested, and our citizens might be interested in knowing that that mixed recycling, paper recycling bins are no longer available, except at those 2 sites I mentioned, Forest Chapel and North Branch. But we have particularly for apartment dwellers, we have the site that opened here on the municipal grounds. So if people are interested in bringing recycling here, they can do that at our recycling center here on our grounds, out by the shed and the gas pumps. So that would conclude my report.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Next report is Community Development Committee. Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report for community development, but I would, in the stead of Councilman Lives, remind everyone that, we just sprung back, or fell back in our clock. And, it's a good time to check your carbon monoxide alarms as well as your smoke alarms. I know that's typically what Councilman Lives would remind everyone at this time of year. It is a good time to check your those items, check the batteries, so that you can have a safe and happy holiday and continue through the year. I would also report that I think since our last meeting we had 2 parades in the community, one for the homecoming, and the other was in recognition of the upcoming bond issue for the school district, both of which I was able to attend, and that would conclude my report.
Any questions for Mr. Burns? Mr. Burns, before we go to the agenda item for next week, I believe also that there are not going to be joint committee meetings for November and December.
Correct. The next joint meeting would come into with the school district or school board would be in January.
Thank you. Mr. Burns, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session, and that would be solid waste recycling collection updates. Do you have any to add?
No, thank you.
The next report is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications Committee. That is my report. I have no report. I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have. Hearing none, we'll go to item number 6, the mayor's report. Just a couple of things to report. First of all, I would like to report that on Sunday, October 26th, I was invited to participate in a Garden Club ceremony honoring two of our two longtime Garden Club members, Peggy Williams and Susan Smith. It was a very well-done affair, and I just want to again express my thanks and appreciation to those two ladies for all of the years of service that they've devoted to making Forest Park more beautiful. And they've both spent hours and hours and hours in that endeavor, and they deserve to have been honored with a tree planting over at the Senior Center. Also, as was noted by Councilwoman Holt, I too would urge all citizens to go out to vote if you have not already voted early. It is your right to vote, and everybody should exercise that right. Not to exercise that right kind of lessens takes away your say in what all levels of government would be doing. And that would end my report, but I would answer any questions if there are any. Hearing none, the next report, item number 7, is the city manager's report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report on 3 things. One, we are evaluating and planning our snow season for snow removal and salting, and it's fairly important because we'll probably have to get some kind of communication out to clarify. Right now, our salt supply hasn't arrived in, but we expect that to come in this week probably. But more importantly, we're probably going to have to reduce the amount of salt that we would normally spread at the beginning part of the season because we're just uncertain about how the salt supply is going to sustain us through the season. And if you have a very mild season, it won't be much of any problem. If we have a very heavy season, the concern is we may run out of salt. And it's not just for us, it's everybody in this region because of the salt supply. So the key thing here is we'll probably need to be aware of that as city officials because some may call and say, hey, I'm not satisfied with the salting on my street because it may not be the same as what they have been accustomed to. The key thing for us to get through this coming season, given the nature of salt supply, is not to overspread at the beginning of the season and then get hit later in the season. If we can get by through the first part of the season, then we're going to be fine. So because of that, part of our strategy is to minimize, certainly not eliminate, but to minimize the amount of salt we may be spreading at the beginning of the season to try to make sure we can get through the entire season. Because if you run out of salt in the middle of the season and then you have a bad season, you're not going to be able to do any good. We already know salt prices is zoomed because of the salt supply being down. So that's just an early notice. We'll probably be fine, and certainly we'll be fine if we have a normal season. But, you know, we look at the El Nino situation, and you can hear what's happening up in Maine, even as we speak, all the way down to Arizona. We just don't know, but it's so early in the season. So that's the first thing I want to make sure that you're aware in case somebody would mention to you as we go through the season that, hey, things don't look the same as they have been accustomed to. Second thing I want to mention, I was provided a notice that the Meadows Health Center is inviting city officials to their appreciation breakfast, and that's on November the 5th. So we'll try to make sure that all council members get a copy of this if you haven't already received it. But they have annually invited the city officials to their facility to kind of view their facility, and it's somewhat of a expression of appreciation, primarily through our public services area, particularly our fire and ambulance services, and they always do a very good job. It's going to be between 7 and 10:30 for city officials to come by and visit them. And then finally, I would report that all the departmental reports have been completed and been included in the council package. You'll note that there are a couple that have been out, some on medical leave, some for other reasons. But other than that, the reports are available for public inspection with the clerk of council. So that would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for Mr. Hodges? Hearing none, thank you, sir. We then move to item number 8, other reports. The first of these reports would be the Law Director, Mr. John Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mayor. Since the last meeting, with the cooperation of opposing counsel, I was able to resolve a pending bankruptcy dispute to everyone's satisfaction. Also, I had the opportunity to review a proposed ordinance I'm sure you've seen regarding the problem we've had of unauthorized removal of postings on homes, and I've recommended some changes and otherwise approved that ordinance. That lately has become a problem with signage being removed. I've also been in contact on several occasions with Mr. Nacuzzi about our Cincinnati Mills building inspection issues, and I'm working with him to see if that can't be resolved sooner than later. Other than that, that would be the end of my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for the Law Director? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Next item under other reports, item B, is the Clerk of Council. Mrs.
Thank you,
Hawkins.
Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to thank Joanne Lee and Rachel Wilson for filling in during my absence. And I'd also like to report that resolution numbers 34-2014 through 37-2014 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 9, new business. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolution number 38-2014 by title only.
Moved and second that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 38, 2014 by title only. Is there a discussion?
No, to do this, you just are required to post this 6 days prior to the meeting, which was done, so.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on the motion?
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Then we go to item A, under new business, resolution 38-2014. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 38-2014, a resolution consenting to the execution of a redevelopment incentive agreement between ACPI Systems, Inc. and the City of Forest Park, Ohio.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I move adoption of resolution number 38-2014.
It's been moved and second that we adopt resolution 38-2014. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, this is a recommendation to approve an incentive agreement to help complete an economic development business project that involves the recruitment of a new business to Forest Park. ACPI Systems is a privately owned company currently located in another community. This prospect is a fast-growing company in the electrical automation field and has increased its sales by more than 30% in each of the last 2 years. They provide numerous services, and they are considering an existing property in our Kemper Meadow Business Center. They would invest over $600,000 to acquire the 12,000 square foot building and would also spend another $600,000 on equipment and renovations. They would bring 40 new full-time jobs to the community, and they plan to add another 10 full-time positions over the next 3 years. We anticipate that the company would generate approximately $17,500 annually in new earnings tax revenue. They've applied for the redevelopment grant to assist them with their relocation, and staff has concluded that this project is consistent with the guidelines of our redevelopment program. The recommendation is a one-time redevelopment grant of $10,000 to facilitate their project. The Economic Development Commission has reviewed the project and passed a resolution in support of the staff recommendation. It's important to note that the company also plans a significant expansion of the building in the near future, and when that project comes about, they would probably apply for an enterprise zone agreement for a partial abatement of property taxes associated with the new construction. Staff would also recommend that we support that application at the appropriate time, and I would urge adoption of the resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on the resolution?
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
The motion, Resolution 38, 2014 passes 5-0. The next item on the agenda, item B, is a motion. I would ask Councilman Burns if he would make that motion for me, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the council recess from December 16, 2014 through January 4th, 2015 be adopted.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the motion to hold the council recess from December 16 through 2014 through January 4, 2015. If there is a discussion, I would just state that this is consistent with what we do annually. The primary purpose of the motion is so that staff, the city manager can propose, can schedule things as need be based on the recess. Obviously, if there are emergency situations that arise, we would have called meetings during that recess period. And that would end my discussion. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before the council body at this time? Does anyone else have any other business to come before council at this time? Yes, ma'am. About what?
Shop Small Saturday, American Express has founded a movement, or is part of a movement to make it possible for small businesses to take part in the biggest shopping weekend of the year, which of course everyone knows is the weekend after Thanksgiving. And they actually have a program, and I brought the flyers and the mats and all of the merchandise.
If you could have her speak, you might
Okay.
have to the podium.
Normally, this would be done under addressing the public, but since you are here, if you would come forward to the podium and sign in, tell us who you are, and we will give you some time to address council on the issue.
Thank you.
Who are you, please?
Yes, hello, my name is Angela E. Denmark. I am a Ohio MBE and Edge certified court reporting firm. Just a little bit of professional background about me. I've been a court reporter, began my court reporting career in Hamilton County in 1997. 2007, I started my own business. And so I'm certified by the National Court Reporters Association to provide court reporting services in any court in this country. I have what's called a Registered Professional Reporter certification. So I've been a business owner, and I understand the pains of trying to make sales to grow, and also trying to grow your business. And just a few weeks ago, I received an email from the U.S. Black Chamber. I'm sorry, I'm all mixed up, but it's Chamber of Commerce. And they were trying to find volunteers who would be willing to help promote Shop Small Saturday in their local neighborhoods. I filled out the information, and I am now a neighborhood champion for actually Woodlawn, which is where I live, but I was hoping that the rest of us could all get together and participate in this weekend. What it is a movement, and I have packets of information for council, as well as I don't know how you want me to get these to you, but I can.
You just hand it to us now.
Okay.
Hand it to her.
The main is the first one. It's got, the top one has my capability statement, just as a small business, so you'll know something about me. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but the name of my business is DCR, Denmark Court Reporting Agency. My web address is dcragency.com, and you can learn all about me on that website. But Shop Small Saturday is about a movement to encourage people to shop in their local small businesses in their neighborhoods. We're up to almost 52% of the money that they spend stays in their local neighborhood. There's no cost to any small business owner to participate in this program. It's just basically be available. I have talked with Mayor Farley and of Woodlawn, and we're actually going to use the rec center in Woodlawn to house those small businesses that are home-based, so that they will be able to participate in it as well. It's a great thing. This is my first year doing it, and I want to show you some of the merchandise that's provided by American Express for those small businesses who want to participate. And as far as entities goes, like business or city, county, things like that, you can be a supporter or you could be a sponsor or something like that. And there's no cost. But there are buttons, even these really nice doormats that they hand out. There are pet bandanas, balloons, buttons, a list of how-to. It's all inclusive. And what it takes is, time and energy. And I was hoping that since I live in Woodlawn, of course, I know about Forest Park, Springdale, and I was just coming to the City Council to see if maybe we could all work together in individual cities, since we're so close and we're neighbors, that the small businesses that exist in our neighborhoods will be able to get a cut of that dollar for that day. I mean, people are still shopping. The shopping day is November 29th. It's called Shop Small Saturday. It's November 29th, 2014, and that's Saturday. Thanksgiving, of course, is at Thursday. So people are still out in the malls, or people are still out spending, and we want them to come to the small businesses right next. Often people don't even know that they have perhaps a seamstress or a dry cleaner or a small business less than a mile from their own house, and they may be traveling 30, 40 minutes when they can shop small in their own neighborhoods, support our own neighborhoods, support the jobs that are currently in the neighborhoods, and possibly with time increase. And as I said, although it was founded by American Express. Now, you do not have to be an American Express card holder to participate in this. You can go online, learn about how to become either a volunteer or, an independent business doing it, or of course, the city can be a sponsor, or you can just find out how to support the businesses by taking your dollar to that business, because this is an opportunity for the businesses to actually get right in the path of their potential customers and clients and things like that. So I was hoping that we could set up the same thing here in Forest Park as we have in Woodlawn, which is to make an opportunity also available for the home base, not just the brick and mortar or the retail or those shops that are physical, but those who are working from home with crafts or whatever they're doing.
I guess the question that I would have would be exactly what is it that you're asking us, Forest Park, to do?
Okay, I'm asking the City of Forest Park if perhaps you could donate space so that the home-based businesses, like in Woodlawn, where the mayor has agreed to donate the rec center for that block of time from like 8 or 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. on that Saturday, and promote and encourage people in the community to go to the rec center and shop at the home-based businesses that are there, and also shop those that are, as I said, brick and mortar.
Well, I'm not going to be able to commit to a space based on that date because right this minute, I have no idea what's scheduled in our facilities for that date and time.
I understand.
We're talking about the activity, the only places that we would have that would be available spaces would be either the activity center or the senior center. And I know that normally at this time of the year, those two spaces are booked up with rentals.
Okay.
So what I am going to do is I'll ask the city manager, Mr. Hodges, to, I'll ask you if you would wait a minute after we adjourn and
Sure,
give that
absolutely.
information to Mr. Hodges, who would then pass it on to Paul Brim, our Economic Development Director, and he in turn will check with the appropriate staff people to find out first and foremost about availability of space,
Thank you.
and what may or may not be able to be done. And also, secondly, Paul would be the direct contact for the city through to our Chamber of Commerce, which would probably normally naturally be involved in a venture as this.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Hodges.
Yeah, just to kind of clarify, even if we were able to have the space, and as the mayor said, we really only have probably 2 good locations, and it's a good possibility they're already leased out. There's still maybe a third possibility, that might be our fire station
Okay.
area. And working with them, we could probably work some arrangement. What I'd be concerned with is how would the general public know that they're there? Between now and Thanksgiving, you know, there has to be some kind of promotional
Yes.
effort. Otherwise, you got people
Yes.
sitting in some place and nobody knows that they're really there.
Yes, that's a very good question. These are merchandise materials. There's also a website. I've been sending out Eventbrite invitations, which help explain and promote it. I also have a Twitter account, Facebook, where the message is getting out and can get out.
Right. But still, even with what you stated, I'd be just a little concerned that we can get the communication out to people that would normally be in this community that, you know, we're asking to support. But as the mayor indicated, we'd be more than happy to try to help. Maybe our help is in that facility space if it's available. Again, that's going to be questionable. Or
Okay.
we might be able to help in allowing some kind of display or promotion
Wonderful.
if this is occurring, and where they may go to get that kind of facility. You indicated those little mats, for example. Maybe we could put one of those mats in an area where the public might see it and have some kind of little display where they can get more information on it.
Great.
So if we get the information, we'd be glad to try to work with you, but you're talking about a very short window
Yes, I
and
understand.
having the space available, but key is getting the information to the general public to stop by.
Okay.
And again, one last little detail,
Yes,
because
sir.
I'm thinking about, it probably would have been great if we would have had this information a couple weeks ago when we did our holiday festival and our fire department, because so many people visited. So your
Oh, I'm
window of
sorry I missed that
opportunity
opportunity.
is kind of limited only because of the time, but we're glad to try to help you if we can.
Thank you so much. I apologize for the lateness of the hour. I just got approval the last week in October. And
Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you very much for your
Any other
time.
business to come before the body? Anybody else with any other business? Hearing none? Meeting is adjourned.